Thank you for having us here today. ANSWER stands for Act Now to Stop War and End Racism. That is what we stand for right here. And it's just amazing to see this beautiful crowd. You know, even though I wasn't born in Africa, I know that our people come from Africa, and we stand with you every single day forever. We're here today to tell Biden, to tell the Congress, to tell the Pentagon, the U.S. military is not welcome in Africa. Because we know that this government only brings destruction and oppression everywhere it goes. Excuse me. Yes. These politicians, they don't want to make things better in Ethiopia. Don't believe those lies. They just want to profit from destruction and from war. That's true. The U.S. has never invaded a country to make a situation better for the everyday people of that country. The U.S. never sanctions a country to help people. Sanctions are war because they make basic necessities impossible to get in that country, because they hurt the economy and they hurt the average working people of the country. Did the U.S. help the people of Vietnam? No! Did the U.S. help the people of Iraq? No! Did the U.S. help the people of Afghanistan? No! And can the U.S. help the people of Ethiopia? No! No! Because the U.S. can't even help its own people. That's the truth, folks. The U.S. government is guilty of destabilizing country after country after country. And why do they do it? Not to protect human rights, not to stop violence. It's for the benefit of CEOs, for Wall Street, for the arms manufacturers, for this tiny clique of oppressors. The TPLF is a terrorist group. That group was incredibly brutal when they were in power, and the people of Ethiopia will never let them come to power again. Is that right? There's no doubt that the TPLF is backed by U.S. warmongers. There's no doubt.
Horn of Africa. All right. The TPLF, you know, has been a terror in Ethiopia and the Horn of Africa for more than 3 decades. They have stolen and pillaged from the Ethiopian people while enriching their own families abroad. They are now using the stolen billions of dollars to hire lobbyists and put pressure on the elected government of Ethiopia. When I say the crimes of these fools, you say TPLF. Who is designated as a terrorist by the U.S. actually? Who led Ethiopia for 27 years with tyranny and genocide? Who was a Cold War era dictator put into power by the U.S.? Who embezzled $30 billion from Ethiopia? Who tortured, raped, women, massacred all the Afar, Benjamin people? Who violated human rights for 30 years? Who jailed journalists and opposition leaders? Who divided Ethiopia into ethnic lines? We don't want. 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 I can't hear you. In the back. In the back. Talk to the White House. Wake up, Biden. He's sleeping. We don't want. We don't want. We don't want. No more. No more. No more. No more. When I say no more, you say TPLF. No more. No more. No more. No more. We don't want. We don't want. Biden, we don't want. Biden, we don't want. We don't want. We don't want. No more. No more. I can hear Atlanta. I can't hear you. We don't want. We don't want. We don't want. Come on, Biden, listen to us. We don't want. We don't want. All right. Let me introduce the speaker real quick here.
Africa and to seek unity on the African continent. U.S. policy has actually been very consistent for the last 40 years when it comes to the Horn of Africa. Keep them divided. They've supported various people at various times. They've had various positions, but they all boil down to one thing: keep them divided. They recognize, and this is written down, you look at what the U.S. government itself writes about the world. You can look it up. It's called the National Defense Strategy. And they write in there that the U.S. must control all of the regions in the world. That the most important thing is to prevent any nations. Doesn't matter if you like the U.S., doesn't matter if you hate the U.S., but anyone who wants to think independently and act independently is a problem, and it must be prevented. And the $800 billion they spend every year at the Pentagon, that's what it's there for, to prevent people.
The world cannot afford another Libya, another Syria, another Yemen, another Afghanistan. The USA just came out of Afghanistan, wanted to declare war on Ethiopia in support of terrorist TPLF. No way! No way!
No way!
No more! No way! We are Ethiopia! A free nation! We are Eritrea! A free nation! We are Somalia! A free nation! We are the Horn of Africa! We are Africa! We are Africa! Adwa again! Adwa again! Adwa again! Colonial.
Twitter campaign. We really appreciate you. Welcome, brother. Thank you. Thank you. For a year, for 1 year, we were silenced by the Western media. We were silenced by the United States government and the West because they were covering up for the puppet TPLF's crime. 27 years of raping Ethiopia, 27 years of harassing Eritrea, 27 years of bombing Somalia was not enough. They want to bring them back again.
No!
Are we going to let that happen?
No!
So when we started the hashtag No More 2 weeks ago, we started it by thinking about what should we do for the 1 year anniversary, right? And then one thing was crystal clear. For the whole year, the narrative was a false narrative. It was all about TPLF. The people that were committing the crime were being seen as victims. And the victims that were being killed, massacred, like these names that you're holding from my cadre, were being seen as the aggressors. In June, after the ceasefire was declared, the TPLF invaded Amhara and Afar. The United States said nothing. And even for us here, when we speak up, we were silenced. They called you names. They called you genocider. They called you this and that. It was all because they want to shame you into being silent. We've seen this movie before. They were saying Libya was, Gaddafi was a genocider. They told us there were a genocide happening. They invaded. Now Libya is a destroyed country with a slave market in it. They said the same thing in Iraq. Saddam Hussein was killed, used weapons of mass destruction. After they destroyed the country, nothing happened. But in Ethiopia, we actually have a democratically elected government that the people love. In Ethiopia, we've had more democracy, more freedom than we've ever seen ever in our life and our history. Now, so we're not going to allow the West to put puppet regimes on us anymore, are we?
No!
We're not going to be silenced anymore, are we?
No!
This is going to be our time. And this is not just about Ethiopia. The war on Ethiopia is the war on Africa.
Yes!
This is about also Eritrea.
Yes!
The war on Eritrea, the sanctions. They've been sanctioning Eritrea for 20-something years because the Eritrean government would not bow down. Because they're independent, because they're sovereign, because they respect themselves, unlike the TPLF.
Yes!
So we stand with Eritrea.
Yes!
We stand with Somalia.
Yes!
We stand with the Horn of Africa.
Yes!
How are we going to get over this is by unity. The Horn of Africa unites now. We stand together.
Yes!
And we're going to reignite Pan-Africanism again.
Yes!
Just like we did in 1896 with Ate Menilik and beyond. This is going to be the second Adwa where we're going to stop neocolonialism today.
Yes!
They messed with the wrong people.
Yes!
They messed with the wrong people.
Yes!
Don't mess with Ethiopians.
Yes!
Don't mess with Eritreans.
Yes!
Don't mess with Somalis.
Yes!
Don't mess with the Horn of Africa.
Yes!
We're going to show them. So don't give up. Speak. And I just want to say one thing. The most important thing that we all can do right now is tell the truth to your American neighbor, to your American coworker, because they're lying to the American public. The American people are good people. If they know what's going on, if they knew the truth, that every single one of them, just like some of our brothers and sisters that stood up here with us, they will stand with us.
Yes!
They don't want the American people to know the truth. That's why they lie on CNN. That's why they give disinformation on all the mass media.
Yes!
So, you and me and all of us, it's up to us to tell our neighbors to create awareness and the consciousness of American people and tell them to say enough, tell them to say no more. No more.
No more!
No more.
No more!
No more.
No more!
Okay, now what I would like to do is, I think most of you have this paper. We have 1,500 papers printed. These are real people. Every single one of this has a name on it. Every single one of these people were killed by the TPLF because they were ethnic minorities, most of them Amhara. This is in Maikadra. They killed them with machetes. They killed them with stones. Some of them, they burned them alive. This is what the TPLF does. So we're gonna remember them. This movement has a soul. This movement has humanity. We're standing up for people that are being massacred. So if you don't mind, if you can hold this up, and let's just have a moment of silence for a minute, thinking of the victims of Maikadra. And this is not just Maikadra. All of the victims from Tigray, all of the victims from Amhara, Wallo, Afar, all of the victims of the TPLF that perished. Let us remember them for 1 minute.
Is fighting African war. Africa, unite. Africa, unite. We cannot win. Ethiopia, without love, we cannot win. Ethiopia, without love, Adwa is our example. Adwa is our example. Canada, support Ethiopia. Canada, support Ethiopia. BBC, CBC, shame on you. Shame on you. CNN, BBC, CBC, fake news. Don't make us boycott. Don't make us CBC boycott. We know CBC. We know Ethiopia. We like Tigray. Shame on you.
Shame on you!
Shame on you.
Shame on you!
Shame on you.
Shame on you!
CBC. You don't like the people of Ethiopia. You like Tigray. Fake news. Shame on you.
Shame on you!
Shame on you. Protecting. You are watching. I'm watching. Boys are watching. You're watching with the boys watching. You're watching with the boys watching. CNN. BBC. CBC. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. CNN. BBC. CBC. Fake news. No more. No more. Ethiopia is for Afghanistan.
USA! Stop!
Hello. Support Ethiopia! Support Ethiopia! And its fight against TPLF! Our leaders are our choices! Our leaders are our choices! You don't choose leader for us! You don't choose leader for us! We stand for sovereignty! We stand for sovereignty and integrity in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is one. Ethiopia is one. Ethiopia is one. Ethiopia is sovereign. Ethiopia is proud. Ethiopia is proud. Ethiopia won't bow down. Ethiopia won't bow down to Western power. To Western power. We stand with Ethiopian soldiers. We stand with Ethiopian soldiers. We stand with our government. We stand with democracy. We stand with the people. We stand with the people. Ethiopia will not negotiate. Ethiopia will not negotiate with terrorists. With terrorists. No negotiation. No negotiation with terrorists. Say no to terrorism. No to terrorism. No to terrorism. No to war. No to war. No to genocide. No to genocide. We want peace. We want peace. We want prosperity. We don't want war. We don't want war. We love the Ethiopian people. We want peace. We don't want war. TPLF is a terrorist group. TPLF is a terrorist group. TPLF is a terrorist group. Sovereignty. Sovereignty. Comes from elections. Comes from elections. Not through war. Not through war. Not through war. But through election. TPLF does not represent Tigray people. TPLF does not represent Tigray people. Tigray people are brainwashed by TPLF. We